Good morning and welcome to the Killik & Co market update. It's becoming more and more likely that Boris Johnson will be the next leader of the Conservative Party, even though we won't find out for sure until the week of the 22nd of July. We've just been having a think about what this could potentially mean for the UK, but at this stage it's fairly hard to tell because Boris has really given very little away about his future policies. He has talked about lowering taxes and about increasing expenditure on infrastructure, so whereas Philip Hammond has been quite pro-austerity and has made quite good progress in terms of reducing the UK's deficit, it does appear that Boris would perhaps go the other way and that he would increase the UK's level of debt in order to boost growth. Also, Boris is seen as a pro-Brexit candidate, so as he's moved ahead in the polls, people have become increasingly concerned about the likelihood of a no-deal Brexit. However, Boris has given very little detail away about where he stands on this. So over the next 4 weeks, Boris will be touring the country, giving speeches in order to canvass support, and we will be listening closely to hear more about his thoughts on a no-deal Brexit. Also this week, Meeker has released her slide pack showing internet trends for the year 2019. Now, Meeker is a US venture capitalist, formerly a technology sector analyst in the US, and she's also been recognized by Forbes as one of the most powerful women in the world. Every year, she releases a presentation showing her thoughts on internet trends for the current year. So we're always quite interested to have a look and see what fascinating insights she has into the technology sector. And here are a couple of my favorite slides from her presentation for the current year. The first is on internet usage and perhaps more importantly, non-internet usage in different countries around the world. So if you have a look at this chart here, the blue bars show the proportion of people using the internet in each country, and the grey bars show the number of people not using the internet. So if you look at the UK and the US, you can see that the vast majority of people are using the internet. However, if you look at China and India, you can see there are still huge proportions of people, hundreds of millions of people in fact, still not using the internet. So that says to us that there is a huge opportunity there for internet companies focusing on these two countries. The next slide that caught my eye was one that shows the time that we spend consuming digital media via different mediums or platforms. So the grey bars on this chart show the average number of hours per day that people in the US spend consuming media on different devices. So the grey bar shows that the time spent on laptops and desktops consuming media has barely changed over the last few years. That's still fairly constant at an average of about 2 hours per day. If you look at the green bars, however, that shows there's been a huge increase in the number of hours spent consuming media on mobile phones. And in fact, for 2018, that number came in at an average of 3.6 hours per day. And for the first time ever, people have spent more time consuming media on their phones than they have on a desktop or a laptop. So for us, this is a fascinating insight into how our relationship with media has changed over the last few years. And finally, also on the subject of our relationship with digital media, we've been having a look at the online gaming industry. And in fact, in 2018, the global revenue of the online gaming industry was more than double that of the total global revenue for the music and film industries combined. So have a look at this chart here. The purple bars show the annual global revenue of the online gaming industry, and the grey bars show the total global revenue of the music and film industries combined. And you can see that for 2018, gaming revenue was $135 billion and TV and film revenue was $60 billion. And you can see that there really is a huge ongoing level of growth in the gaming industry, and it's a sector we're watching very closely. So please do give us a call if you would like to hear more about our thoughts on the online gaming industry. Now, moving on to the week ahead, we are looking forward to results from Nike, Accenture and Walgreens. That's it from us. Have a great weekend and we'll see you next Friday.